All right, Willie, you ready to do this?
I am.
What do you think Grandma's cookie jar has for us this time? The smile, the anticipation. It's killing them. Look at them. The grind, creating your daily routine.
Uh-oh, man.
And starting off with the quote, everything good is uphill.
I actually love that, right? So, hey, it's everything is at the top of everything you can ever want in life is at the top of the mountain. But you got to climb to go get it.
That's what we're talking about here. That's creating that for yourself. That grind.
As a child and playing sports, the grind was considered something positive, right? You wanted to be a good athlete, you had to run, you had to practice, you had to do push-ups, you had to lift weights, you had to do those things. And everybody bragged about what they did. I ran 5 miles today. I lift weights for an hour today, right? My bench press, I can bench more than you can, right? We bragged about that. And then all of a sudden you get out in the real world and you're like, well, I want grind. What are you talking about? I like my free time, right? I want to go have fun. I want to play, so to speak. But I would like the nice car, the big house, the fancy title, the beautiful spouse, right? The money in the bank to travel and to do all these other things. I want those too. Well, I'm sorry. That's not really how life works, unfortunately.
But yet we think it does. That's the fascinating piece in here that you just described is probably the path for like 90% of us, right?
That's right.
I had a very, very similar experience as a kid. I don't know that I knew it was the grind. So we would just literally every day just kind of leave the house and go out and play. And I would call it play because when we were out, doing something, running around, being kids, but generally something athletic for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a day. Might have been street hockey, might have been road football, might have been baseball in the backyard or playing horse or pig with a basketball, but it was something. It was a competition. It was practice. We didn't necessarily know it was practice. So another interesting piece out of me, I suppose, in the programming is that nothing was really formal. I don't know about you and kind of, where you were growing up, but for me, again, I think the only thing that was going on kind of youth sports back then was baseball. No, there was Pop Warner football. So then there were a few things, and there was like one hockey rink in the town, so you could be, kind of be on the town team. But for the most part, it was just kids, leave the house, pick up, go play. And so, but I think about that and kind of go, we used to like do that for 4, and it was awesome. And I suppose that was, now that you mention it, that was kind of creating this habit. It's creating the habit of doing the work. But if you can somehow kind of frame it that it's not really the work, it's hanging out with my friends and doing stuff wrapped in competition and getting to mess with people a little bit. Maybe there's some clues in there as far as how we progress through this kind of journey of life and those different seasons. Because you mentioned kind of at some point in time that leaves us.
That's right.
We become adults. We want different things. Back then, it was just pretty freaking easy. I just want to catch the game-winning touchdown and,
That's right.
And our team beat your team, and there wasn't too much else to think about. So, but then when the cars and the house and the prestige and my ego and some of these other things start kind of creeping in on us, maybe those are kind of inhibitors to our practice or our grind.
Let's go with, I just want to catch the game-winning catch, right? Or make the game-winning shot. And to make that shot, I practice playing with my friends, making that shot 1,000 times, right? Catching the ball. To me, it was, I didn't want to catch the game-winning catch. I wanted to intercept the game-winning catch for the other team, right? They think they're going to score or tackle them before they made the score or sack the quarterback before he threw the ball. Those are the kinds of things that I thought about, but it's the same thing, right? So we practice so that we can play. And you play like you practice, right? If you practice poorly, you played poorly. You're right. We didn't sit around and talk about how horrible it was. I had to go do this. No, we said, no. All right, I'm having fun.
What are we doing today?
That's right. I'm having fun, but I'm going to really have fun when I catch the game-winning touchdown, right? And the reason I catch that game-winning touchdown, because I caught that game-winning touchdown 1,000 times playing with my friend in the backyard, right? You know, with the field with the, you know, that had glass on it and whatnot.
That's the way it worked for us.
Correct.
Right? Our high school hero, his name was Bob Stenman.
Yeah.
And Bob, right, he was a really good wide receiver. And the high school football team was pretty good. They'd compete kind of state championship level. And, you know, and Bob was like Fred Biletnikoff at the time. Yeah. It was just, he did this down and out route that, right, no one could defend. Yeah. Fake in, out, 2 feet, just in bounds, catch, couldn't stop him. We ran that pass play thousands of times in street football. Yeah. What are we doing? Down and out. That's right. I got both feet in. I got both feet. This is fantastic.
Yeah,
so,
no, correct.
Right.
And it was fun. So now let's put that
yeah.
in our daily activities
right.
of
so
life.
where we go now?
Where we go now, right?
Yeah.
So you think about it. So what if at the same time, you know, there's a good friend of mine, Oscar Jerkins. We went to Morehouse together, and Oscar, man, I mean, you talk about a brilliant guy, right? You know, it looked like getting the highest score in chemistry and taking physical chemistry and all this sort of stuff was easy to him. It looked like he just fell asleep, woke up, wrote some stuff down, and did it, right? I'm talking about, you know, 3 classes, the highest score of all 3 classes. So one day I said to Oscar, I said, man, I'm trying to figure this out, dude. Help me out. So then I realized this. When I was out playing football, he was reading and learning things that I'd never heard of, right? He was studying Shakespeare. He was learning biochemical principles, right? Just based upon the family he was in and what he was exposed to and the things that he saw as fun. Right? He was just doing it. Hey, I wonder how this chemical principle really works, right? And he's sitting there for hours looking up stuff, doing these things, right? You go, oh. So then he comes to college and he's like, hey guys, I'm gonna go over here and do this. And we're trying to figure this formula out. And he walks in the room and says, oh, that means da-da-da-da-da, and da-da-da. And he's like, doo-doo. And by the way, I remember when I was in the 7th grade and I found that for the first time. And I figured, and you're like, what the heck is he talking about? Right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the Star Wars movies, and he's talking about the Star Wars books, right? That's a different level. So it's the same thing. And what I realized then, I said, oh, what if I just take the same mindset that I had in sports and place it in academia and have the same fun that I had in sports in academia? Then guess what?
It's not a grind anymore.
It's not a grind anymore.
But it is routine. That becomes automated over time because you just do it.
That's right. You just do it. And it's all a mental principle and a thought process that you realize that it is fun, right?
Yeah.
Because you're really doing it because you want to catch that.
Well, I guess that's where I wanted to kind of go with that story with Oscar and kind of go, what do you think motivated him? So clearly, right, it was wherever I think there, right, a really good clue there is wherever somebody's really good at their craft and it looks easy to them, there's something going on.
That's right.
There's something you should pay attention to. Now, perhaps they're like a swan, right, and they're just kind of floating across the top of the water and it looks really easy, right, but their legs are kicking like heck underneath. Yeah. You just don't see it. But perhaps, right, kind of going back to our theme here and creating your grind, that daily routine, is to get to that point to where it truly is just routine. And you're doing it out of the pure enjoyment of it. So back to Oscar, what do you think kind of drove him at that early age where everybody else is paying attention to movies and the latest record that was coming out and in sports and other stuff? He's going down this kind of whole other path.
I think it's the same thing that was driving every other child doing all the stuff they were doing. They were having fun. Right?
Yeah.
And it's enjoyable.
So fun for him was just slightly different.
Correct. And it's what's exposed to, right? But guess what? Here's the interesting thing about it. We get to determine what's fun. And we get to determine what we're exposed to and what we expose our children to, right? We get to decide that. So it's sort of like, so it's if you say, hey, I value your ability to catch a ball or to throw a ball. And then you go, especially as a child, you go, oh, great, I'm going to go do that. Well, I value your ability to have complex conversations about chemical principles because that's what we do. That's what we talk about.
Right.
Then you're going to find that as fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you value politics, if you value, I mean, whatever it is, right? As long as we determine it to be, we create an environment that it's fun, that is acceptable, that is exploration, that is expected, right? You know, I got a good friend, and you know him well, Nate, right? Nate Daniel Turner. That's what he taught his son, Naeem, who does great stuff. That's what he teaches families. That's what we talk about. And I think it's true. Right, I taught it to my daughter. I know you were doing for several years. You didn't know us, but you were teaching the same thing to your daughters. The same thing, right? The same kind of environment. Hey, we value these things. We find these things to be cool, and let's do them. And then they do them. They go, oh, it is kind of cool, right? It is kind of cool knowing this, being able to do this. It's being inspired to do this. Being expected to be able to do that, right? Whatever that is, being pushed to do it, right? So we were pushed.
Initially.
That's right.
Because I may not know what I love to do initially.
Correct. Until I'm exposed to it.
Until I'm exposed. And then perhaps somebody comes up and says, hey, Willie, you know what? You might not realize this, but you're really good at this, man.
Correct.
And you're like, what? Why am I good at it? It's just something that I love to do. So kind of, right, there's a push to then where you kind of fall into that stuff. But I love kind of spinning things back and kind of to poke at Oscar a little bit more, but his ability to stand out from the crowd where everybody else, 99% of kids are, you know how that is with herd mentality. And you're in middle school and high school and it's ruthless, right? You're that kid that's not part of the pack. You're not one of us. But he was able to develop these routines in terms of his learning at a different level that somehow or another he was able to follow through. And that's just so cool to me.
Yeah, and maybe, again, I didn't know him then, but maybe he had a pack of kids who did the same thing, right? Maybe his school set up the environment where he's able to do that, right? The family, the church. I mean, I don't know. All those things come in. That's right.
Wrapped around that piece.
That's correct.
Yeah,
and that's the community piece that you talk about a lot, right? That's the community piece.
Once you feel that I have some sense of I'm good at this,
that's right.
Then that's right. Once you start getting a flavor for that, I think this whole thing becomes a little bit easier. But you still have a fight. You still have where we went with this, which is kind of our distortion, if you will, of what's important. Right. I really want, all the money that's going to ultimately buy me the big house that right now, maybe or another. Right. We kind of go down a path that's more geared toward that rather than that path that brings us joy. That right are those things that we love to do, which are those areas ultimately that we're probably best at.
Yeah.
So
and the problems we're solving. Right. So if you. So if you think about it and you say, well, I have an idea to create a company because that company is going to do something good. And what I'm really thinking about is the good that it's going to do, right? And then now I'm working really hard to solve this problem. but the joy is in solving the problem. So I'm not grinding.
It's not right.
Correct. It's not a grind. It's that I see this thing that's going to come out of this. So therefore, I can't wait to put the time in. I can't wait to understand that. I can't wait. For me back in the day, I can't wait to learn to operate. I can't wait to be able to do that. I can't wait. So you could look back, and so if you were to talk to people and they say, yeah, man, he was doing this. He was in the lab all the time. He would do these things. Everyone else is going to do that. And, I don't understand why you're sacrificing so much. I'm like, this is not a sacrifice. What are you talking about? I love this stuff.
That's
right?
the key.
And I'm going to go have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, right. Yeah. This is
fun for me.
For me.
Right.
Correct. And it may not be fun for you.
And it's not work. Because, right, I have to get to the bottom of this. I have to be, right, and doing that best work. So doing all that little extra work, waking up early, putting in the extra time late, watching the film after, right, after the game. But, right, I love like kind of, turning this whole thing into, right, like the teachings of John Wooden and, just building really, really great systems and programs But to him, the game didn't matter.
That's right.
It was the practice.
It was the practice.
It was the team. It was the why are we all doing this? Why are we here? Which gets back to we love basketball. We just want to play. We want to compete at a really high level.
Correct.
So,
and I just want to do medicine at a high level. And I just want to do this at a high level. I mean, whatever this is for whoever's listening, right?
Yeah.
If you put it in the same context, and you say, okay, for me to be able to do that, then I need to be able to do this, right? So if I want to be Jim Rohn, right, internationally known speaker, or Les Brown, then I got to be willing to go talk to the two people that showed up to this little hall that I have, right? I got to be willing to go do that. I got to practice this over and over again. But the pleasure of being on the stage of two, or zero,
it's exactly
the same as being on the stage of 1,000 or 20,000.
Right.
Right. It's the exact same thing. That joy that comes out of me sharing ideas and thoughts and giving the speech is the exact same thing. So the joy that I have in this, right? So then so as individuals, how do we see life in a way that we're able to do that for whatever we're talking about? Right?
Whatever motivates you.
That's right.
As an individual. Which isn't the same as what motivates me.
Correct.
I've got my goals. And to that extent where, hey, what is this thing? But kind of unpacking our superpowers in essence to try to, ultimately figure that out with paying attention to ourselves first and not listening to what the rest of the world is telling us. Hey, Willie, you should be doing this. Hey, Willie, you should be doing that. Right. Hey, Matt, right, you should be doing this. What do you mean by that? What do you mean? How do you know that? I need to get inside my heart and kind of those things and really distill that down to what is it? What is that unique ability for me? What are those superpowers? And how do I, right, ultimately in there, how do I create that routine where I'm in essence just kind of shedding that stuff that's getting me in the way or getting in the way of me achieving that?
And in the end, all the other stuff comes with it. Right? Winning the game occurs because of that.
Right.
Everything you want on the other end comes out of that.
Yes.
Right? But
if we listen to the voices of you should, or hey, society is telling me.
That's right. Or I wake up and I roll out and I go, dang.
Then it's work.
Do this again.
Then it's grind.
Then it's correct. Then it's a grind.
Because it's not aligned with you and who you are and your energy.
And the internal desire, right? That thing that clicks inside.
That says, innate, that God-given ability.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then it all sort of comes together. And then you're seeking, and the universe is helping you find it, right? I mean, there you go. You got it.
So
that's the magic. I think.
So tying this out.
That's the superpower.
That's the superpower. So tying this out, it kind of sounds like to me that, right, each of us, I'm going to take my own note away from this and kind of go, as I'm thinking about the stuff that I work on a daily basis, And how aligned with that is that to, do I feel like it's a grind, or is it just play?
It's this play.
And kind of unpacking that a little bit. And if it's feeling like a grind, there's probably a pretty good clue in there that, yeah, this thing's not exactly who I am. So for everybody else out there, at the end of the day, today or sometime in the future, kind of think about that stuff. Is it a grind, or is it play? Is it that same feeling? Is it that same euphoria that you got when you were playing street football with your friends and you couldn't wait to get out the door?
There. That's right. Correct. So that's it. So I guess we're saying the lesson here is to sit down at the end of the day or the beginning of the day and ask yourself, is this a grind or is it play? Right? And I don't mean play.
Just that simple.
We're not going to do anything today.
Yeah.
I mean, in what I consider my job, my life, my career, my essence of who I am, have I turned this into a grind, or am I just having fun? So I'm going to say this. I'm going to, I try to do this. I'm involved as, giving talks a lot of times and stuff like that. And before every talk, I think, let's go have fun. Right? If you're taking a test, imagine you tell your child or yourself, let's go have fun. I'm going to go have fun taking the SAT. I'm going to go have fun doing this. I'm going to go have fun. I got a presentation that I have to give to the board. I'm going to go have fun doing that. And I'm just going to have fun doing it. Why? Because I know I'm prepared. Not because I was grinding, was because I was practicing and I was having a good time doing it. So I'm just going to take that feeling that I had learning all this and take it to the boardroom, or take it to this, or take it to the bank or whatever, and enjoy doing it.
Because it's the game, right? You didn't know this, but that's really where all that practice gets to really show itself.
That's right.
And it becomes part of the joy. Rather than, oh man, I'm having a nervous breakdown and I'm sweating through 3 shirts. And
yeah, that's true.
All right.